It's another wonderful opportunity to dig again into the parables of Jesus. Just as a reminder, the parables of Jesus are simple, relatable stories where we can see ourselves in, because it has to do with our daily lives. But most importantly, they have spiritual implications. They give us glimpses of heavenly principles, and they empower us on how to live the Christ like life while on earth. So it's so important that we not only hear about the stories that are relatable, that resonate with us, but also apply it into our daily walk with the Lord, because that was what was intended. Uh, Life stories with moral implications, spiritual lessons to prepare us for a heavenly place. That's what the parables are all about. So today we'll be digging into the parable of the fishing net. And this for me makes me laugh a bit, because it reminds me of the time I went fishing with my husband, and he loves to fish. So we got to the lake, and what happened? I was eager to get into the boat, and I wasn't waiting, and him being not a very good teacher of how to fish is was in the boat just waiting, and I didn't know, and I jumped. Rather than jumping into the boat, I ended up jumping into the lake, and for 2 hours, just trying to be a good sport, I was in my wet clothes and fishing on that lake, and we didn't catch anything. We came back home after 2 hours, but it's a wonderful memory. It's good to go through life building wonderful memories with our families, with our loved ones. So, but that reminded me of the parable of Jesus. So in Matthew chapter 13, verses 47 to 52 is where we find this relatable story that has a very deep spiritual meaning, and is also a wake-up call for us who are followers of Christ. I read, "Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a fishing net that was thrown into the water and caught fish of every kind. When the net was full, they dragged it up onto the shore, sat down, and sorted the good fish into the crates, but threw the bad ones away. That is the way it will be at the end of the world. The angels will come and separate the wicked from the righteous, throwing the wicked into the fiery furnace, where they will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Do you understand all these things?" "Yes," they said, "we do." Then he added, "Every teacher of religious law who becomes a disciple in the kingdom of heaven is like a homeowner who brings from his storeroom new gems of truth as well as old." So if you haven't looked into the other parables, I urge you to do, because somehow they are all connected. Like I said, these parables are earthly stories, stories using earthly, everyday life illustrations to prepare us for our eternal destiny as believers in Jesus. The fishing net, all kinds of fish, all kinds of fish. This reminds us of the parable of the wheat and the weeds, all growing together until the appointed day when there is a separation. There will be a day and a time where there will be a separation. When Jesus comes, he will separate those who will spend eternity with him and those who have not repented of their sins, washed by his blood. Those will be those people who will not spend eternity with him. And it's sobering, it's a wake-up call, because it reminds me also of Jesus' words in Matthew chapter 7, where he talked about, there is so much, it's so loaded, but it talks about not all who call him Lord, Lord will enter into the kingdom of heaven. Think about that. It's something to really think about, because we need to re-examine ourselves. Are we really in faith? Where are we standing? If we're in faith, are we growing in the Lord? Are we bearing fruits? Just like he expects us to do. In John chapter 15, he talks about we be abiding in him abiding in us, and we bearing fruits, because without him we can do nothing. What kind of fruits are we bearing? Because there will be a separation. There will be a denial, and there will be an approval. So when Jesus comes, the question is, are we going to receive a commendation or a condemnation? When Jesus comes, will we be found in faith and doing what we're supposed to do? These are sobering thoughts. Now, for the mockers and the scorners, they will always say, for thousands of years they've been saying Jesus will come, Jesus will come. When will he come? I always say, as a minister of the gospel and as a believer in Christ Jesus, first, before being a minister of the gospel, it's not our business to speculate. That time that we use to speculate, to argue, to debate, we can use that time to be more productive in Christ. We can use that time to be more built up in Christ, to be deeply rooted in him, and to encourage each other or edify each other in this part of truth. So let's examine ourselves. What kind of fish are you? What kind of fish am I? Just like the parable of the wheat and the weeds. When harvest time came, which represents the coming of the Lord, the weeds were gathered, separated from the weeds and burnt out because they are no good. All they do is suck out life from the wheat. But the wheat that have much good use were gathered together into the barn, signifying heaven. It is my prayer and utmost desire that above all things, that our focus and our desire and intention will be to be the fishes that will not be separated, but the good fishes. Following the good Lord, doing his good work, and allowing him to use us in ways that will bring him glory. The Lord bless and keep you.